So, guys, the month of May was more of a tick your checklist kind of a thing because I have watched so many old films in this one, and the only one I managed to catch up in theaters on Cinema Lovers Day was not up to the mark. But let's leave it aside and talk about only the best.
मुझे भी उस टाइप को जज नहीं करना चाहिए था। आप किसी को जज नहीं करते।
मेरे खुद के अंदर इतनी सारी कमियां हैं तो मैं किसी को क्या जज करूं?
खुद को नहीं जज कर रहे हो।
Hello, Cinefam. Welcome to Mature May. Because let's be real, I've watched pretty matured films and series in this one, and here's the best for you. Number 10, Jia. This is a melancholic, deeply saddening film starring a cool punk badass Angelina Jolie as a celebrated model, as well as someone who was envied upon by a lot of people for the fascinating aura and androgynous style that she so naturally possessed. Also, a 14-year-old Mila Kunis slays the young Jia, and it feels like a dream to me. Another person whom I absolutely loved on screen was Mercedes Ruehl. She had such natural chemistry with Angelina. Speaking of Angelina, all of her profanity and intimacy lit my screen on fire, but more importantly, the way she peeled each layer of Jia and unfolds her life like an onion is what makes this film a celebrated biopic. The characterization is phenomenal, and you could watch it only for that. Number 9, Friends with Benefits. First, let me admit that Emma Stone was nothing short of brilliant in this one. I just can't help but love her crazy roles, like also in Birdman. Besides, everyone in Birdman is a little crazy. But who isn't, my friend? Rhetorical question. Also, Will Gluck with David and Keith have written a hilarious, most witty and effortlessly charming script, I must say. Plus, whoever came up with the idea to cast Woody Harrelson in this gay role is a genius. Has to be the casting directors, obviously, Jennifer Joseph and Lisa. And on top of everything, Mila and Justin had such easy air about each other, which was truly alluring to watch. Number 8, Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway. Look, I know how melodramatic this was the whole time, but you can't deny at all that the same thing was what made it stand out. I mean, had Devika not been so loud and protective and not so charming with a language barrier of her rights as a mother, we would have probably failed to notice how calm, composed, and well spoken Daniel was. In fact, the last argument between Balaji Gauri and Jim Sarb's characters was the most intense bit of the film. Yes, I did cringe watch it. I'd not lie about that. But what's more important than all of this is the intent, which must not go unnoticed. There's a simplistic storytelling in this one, and that's okay because that's why people liked watching it, because they resonated with it. And yeah, you all know Anirban has been a favorite over the years, and I need not say another word on how underwritten and basic his character was in this. But for the unusual premise, it's worth a watch, I'll say. Number 7, Lapata Ladies. This is such a heartwarming and elegant film, finally from Bollywood, that you can actually watch the whole of it with your family. Kiran Rao is an essential director of Hindi films and deserves much praise in projects like Konkana, Zoya, or even Deepa Mehta. The ease with which she detangled the knots in which women have been tied since centuries is masterful. Also, the fresh faces and talent in this adds a much needed color and vibrance to our screens, and the songs were really, really good. Number 6, The Idea of You. I recognize fanfic, okay? I do. It feels silly and reckless, but youthful, isn't it? Interesting as hell, wouldn't you say? Especially if the leads have such sexy chemistry. Not gonna lie, this really felt a lot responsible to me. You know what I mean. The genuine problems faced by an older woman who's not from the showbiz. Also a mother dating a guy who's just few years apart from her own childhood phase. This has been very well portrayed by Michael Showalter. This was a bit formulaic, but I don't mind seeing Annie and Nick together in 18 more rom-coms, just so you know how good they are. Number 5, 8am Metro. This was one to feel, and that's the reason I can't really say much about it, because honestly 8am Metro left me speechless. This is a conversation movie, which is my favorite genre in all of cinema, and we have so less of these. So whenever I get one, I treasure it for life. Gulshan Devaya is such a lovely actor. He can do anything on screen and I'd still watch. And what he does here was extremely rare and natural. Soulful music, beautiful atmosphere, and highly recommended to you. Number 4, Madgaon Express. I am perfectly aware that Go Goa Gone was the OG that paved way for Madgaon and several other black comedy films, but the way I enjoyed Madgaon was insane. The comedy of errors could not have been more on point. Kunal is really a master of humor, I must say. I'm pretty sure that all too like me can't forget the quirky characters anytime soon. And upon everything, there's a reversal of expectations in almost every scene, which makes the humor and punch way too effective. So, anyone who hasn't watched it, please do, because you can't leave this world without watching how Pratik Gandhi rose after overdosing on drugs. Number 3, Possession. This 1981 movie by a Polish director, Andrzej Zulawski, was banned in UK and heavily edited in the US theatrical release because of its graphic nature. Let me start by telling you that this is the most unpredictable, unbelievable stuff I have watched till date. This masterful screenplay was a result of the tragic divorce of the director from his actress wife. This has a monster and all of it, but the horror aspect is heavily psychological, and that tumultuous state of mind is brilliantly portrayed by Isabel Adjani, who is nonetheless immersed in her two roles here. The drama transcends to an aggressive level, and the tension is such that it can give you a migraine. What I now very strongly have started to believe that pain can actually give rise to the most rarest of arts. Lastly, what makes Isabel's performance to stay with me for life was her loss of control while performing. She was completely unbothered and unhinged, and she didn't care about herself or her body or sanity as it shows. And I guess that's what translates and strikes to me and a million others as a perfect performance. Number 2, Erin Brockovich. First of all, I love the balance in this. So damn perfect. The message, the protagonist, her personal life, everything was shot and edited just to the right amounts, and I think that's what makes it so smart and entertaining. Also, the character herself is so strong, my god. She is the queen of comebacks, if I may say, which also makes me say that the dialogues by Susanna Grant are all so on point. They land beautifully whenever Julia delivers them. Like the two wrong feet in Ugly Shoes one. I got numbers coming out of my ears. They're called boobs Ed. The blowjob thing she said. Everything was just unimaginably good. So you better see this one if you haven't and let me know if you had fun. And here's our number 1, Birdman. Yep, finally watched it after a decade of its release only to think about it every single day. The beautiful way in which Alejandro Inarritu planned and Emmanuel Lubezki and Chris Harhoff shot this film heightens the tension and takes it to a paramount level. Michael Keaton hooks us all with his descent into madness, Emma Stone crazy good, and Edward Norton is hilarious as an infamous actor. His scandalous behavior was just so balanced on screen. This is something that you'll enjoy and will surely make you think. We'll supposedly talk about it in detail some other day. Until then, I'll keep coming back to you with reviews. That was the video, guys. Let me know how many films of this list have you watched, and do follow on letterboxd and Twitter if you want to stay connected with me and filmy stuff. And thanks to each one of you for watching this.